Hi there and welcome to The History Teacher. This revision video covers early Elizabethan England 1558 to 1588 of the GCSE Edexcel History 9-1 course. Hopefully you'll also find it useful though, even if you're studying any of the other exam boards or even if, like me, you just love history. Hi there guys, today we're going to be moving on to topic 3 of Elizabeth. This is my absolute favourite topic because we get an idea of what it would have been like to be an ordinary person living under Elizabeth's rule. So let's get started by looking at what education was like. Unlike today, there was no national education system. Schools were provided by wealthy benefactors, the church and volunteers. The role of schools was to prepare people for their role in life. So this usually included practical skills, some very basic numeracy and rarely a bit of literacy. It's estimated that only 15% of Elizabethans could read and write at the beginning of her reign. In fact, very few children went to school. Most poor people educated their own children, teaching them the skills they would need as adults. Anyone attending school had to pay for it, so usually only the rich could attend. However, during the 16th century, along with the spread of Protestantism, came the idea that people should be able to at least read their Bible. A group of people called humanists were arguing that education had value in itself and not just as a way to prepare people for their work. This is an argument that still goes on today and still hasn't been resolved. Meanwhile, books were becoming cheaper with the invention of the printing press, and the nature of work was beginning to change to trade, meaning that people had to be at least able to count. So, during Elizabeth's reign, more schools were opened, giving more people the opportunity to receive an education. In order for us to understand what education looked like for young people, we need to break it up by age and social class. Rich children usually had a private tutor, and often around the age of 7, boys were sent to other noble families to learn battle skills and land management. Poorer, but not poor, children might attend a parish school which was funded by the church, and priests and monks usually taught the lessons. This provided children of land-owning farmers and craftsmen basic literacy and numeracy, so they could manage their businesses along with teaching them Bible studies. Other children of the same classes might attend a petty school. These were run privately by individuals in their own homes, and again they taught basic literacy and numeracy. Most children would leave school at 10. However, there were grammar schools provided for wealthier families. These schools charged fees, and although there were scholarships available for poorer children, these were mostly attended by landowners and the gentry. Grammar schools provided boys aged 10 to 14 with lessons on the Bible, debating, languages and philosophy. Poorer attendees, though, were only given lessons in reading and writing and maths. Finally, the cleverest of the rich could go to university from the age of 14. There were only 2 universities at the time, Oxford and Cambridge, and a boy there would study geometry, music, law, astronomy, philosophy, Latin, logic and persuasive speech, right up until a doctorate. Education for girls, on the other hand, was not seen as necessary. Girls were expected to learn how to run a household and perform domestic duties from their mothers. However, wealthier girls could attend a dame school, which was run by middle-class women and taught lessons in needlecraft, reading, but not writing, and basic numeracy, so that they would be able to run their households and read their Bible. Very rich girls could attend lessons with their brother's private tutor, and the wealthiest of all were given their own tutors. Remember, Elizabeth herself was very well educated. Overall, education did change during Elizabeth's reign. The introduction of grammar schools with scholarships for the poor meant that more people could receive a more advanced education, with an increase in literacy rates from around 15% at the beginning of Elizabeth's reign to around 30% of men and 10% of women by the end of her reign. Okay, that is everything that we need to know about education in Elizabethan England. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment. I always reply as quickly as I can. Don't forget, if you like my content, I'd really appreciate it if you buy me a coffee to keep me going. That is everything for today, and I will see you next time.